Hello, Pastor Deborah here, and welcome again to another wonderful episode of the Agape Love podcast here on YouTube and YouTube Music, called A Voice of Light in the Darkness, with me, Pastor Deborah. We've been working through a wonderful series that I got from and was interpreted and realigned to me by the Holy Spirit from a wonderful teacher about the King and the Kingdom, Dr. Myles Munroe of the Bahamas Faith Ministries. He's in heaven now. He was in an airplane crash with his wife, but he was teaching and speaking at a conference called the Leading Edge Leadership Conference, and from his topic called the oppressed spirit, I was able to take it and sort of tweak it, put new inspirations, so you, even one who is oppressed, would understand this about yourself. We're going to pick up in episode number 22 of the Agape Love podcast, A Voice of Light in the Darkness. And we're going to pick up with part number 22 of the oppressed spirit. But first, I'm going to read to you a few poems. One is a true story called Deep Calleth unto Deep. It was a letter written to me by a precious young man who was an oppressed spirit named Matthew. Then I'm going to read to you a poem that was inspired by the God of Agape Love himself, called You Have Been Found. And you will learn this is what Matthew found long ago. So let's first begin with a prayer to help us open up our hearts and minds to learning, to spiritual teaching that many of you may not have ever heard, but you need to listen. All right? Dear Heavenly Father, the God of creation, the God of all humanity and nature, we come and ask you to lead us and guide us. Teach us through your words of spirit and truth. Help us to understand ourselves, humanity, nature, and our very spiritual adversaries that keep us oppressed, that keep us in darkness and ignorance of not only what freedom is, but who you are and who we are. Help us to understand and to see, and to raise our hearts, our eyes, and our wits to the desire to be free. And we thank you. We thank you so much. In the name of Agape Love himself. Amen. Okay, this first one is called Deep Calleth unto Deep. Years ago, when I was named Jan, I used to work with people in multi-generational Satanism, witchcraft, the occult, from all over the world. They would hear about this love that I carried, this love for them. I would cry for them. They could hear my prayers. They could see my tears. And they were curious because they didn't think they were worth me loving them. And I had a young lady who would come to me in church, and through her spirit, she would send me a letter, or a young man would look through her eyes. Strange as it may seem, our spirits leave our own bodies and can go into other bodies, especially those that were trained to do this, as in multi-generational Satanism. So Matthew would come and talk to me on Friday nights, and he would write a letter to give to me through a lady. And here's a letter to me from him. This letter was from a 17-year-old teenager who was born into multi-generational Satanism, and it was written in November 2000, many, many years ago. None of this was taught in mental health counseling that I had a license for or was a professional in. This was all in spiritual care that I had to learn and I had to study and have exposure to, take tests, see things I never even heard of, and not be afraid. So listen to Matthew, and you will learn to love the most unloving people as I did. Matthew here, I wanted to talk to you, and this is the only way I have for now. This was through a lady. He wrote this, his spirit wrote it through her physical body. I know your friend has told me to hang on and that there is hope for me, but I really don't feel there is for me. I am glad she made it. That means she made it out, became born again through her belief in Jesus Christ. He says, I'm glad she made it, because not many do, with a lot of pain involved. I heard you say you cry for us. Please don't cry over me. I wouldn't want you to. This was my destiny and my end. Your friend has tried to talk to me till she just could not anymore. When my mind is made, it is made. Let me tell you what I look like. I have brown eyes, dark skin, black hair, long. My nationality is Apache and French. What a combination, huh? We live in the swamps of Louisiana and have a lot of gators around the home. And I even have one for a pet. Weird, huh? His name is Al. Original, huh? I am depressed today. Can you tell? I wish I could believe your friend is right about hope for me, but I don't see it happening in my lifetime. You are a special lady. I think your world is as bad as mine, as far as backstabbing goes. Your friend says it's not that bad, and it's not backstabbing like in my world. Maybe I just don't understand your world. I like to hear you talk and laugh, because I don't hear that in a good way here. I mostly hear a lot of screaming and crying and begging, but no laughter, no kind words. I like to write and have a lot of songs wrote and no one to get them published for me. I will make a way for you and your friend to get my songs, and maybe you can get them published for me, even though I will be gone. I really don't know what will happen when I return home. I watched a baby lose its life over Halloween, and it made me very sick. It's a wonder to me how I have survived this long. I don't want to be here in this, and if I could be sure I'd be safe and make it out there, I might consider this more seriously. How is it that God can love people like me so much, knowing what we have done? How can He be so forgiving to us? Doesn't He want to punish us or be mad at us? Is He really real? How can you get me to freedom? How can you make me safe? How is it that people who are still in, and yet they are saving others who are still in? That can't be so, because in here people are very cutthroat and would turn you in for this witnessing to others in cult. You can't trust anyone in here. I really don't understand that even when you told your friend, she can't explain it to me 'cause she doesn't understand it any more than I do. Well, I have to go. I can't be gone for any long periods of time. Will you answer my questions? I'll try to come back next Friday night. I will be listening for your reply to my questions. Matthew was unable to return the following Friday, for he died by stabbing and hanging in his house in the early afternoon. He had called a friend to come and pick him up. He was leaving home in Louisiana, and the world he knew of multi-generational Satanism, and was escaping to freedom. He was coming to find me for help and safety. I cried to the Lord and asked him, did we lose him? He said no, he had him with him, and he believed in his heart in Christ Jesus and the cross and this love, and was coming to find him here in Pensacola, Florida. I never received Matthew's songs, so the Lord directed me to publish his letter to me, for others to hear the silent cries of a precious spirit named Matthew, who was born into Satanism and was my brother, who was made by God, but was captive in the kingdom of darkness of Satanism. I pray that this young man's short life will touch your heart as he has touched the Lord's and mine. Matthew is safe and free now in the arms of Jesus in the kingdom of heaven, and we will be together for eternity. Satan lost him. You don't know how hard it was for me for many years, and still is. I have to say goodbye to many that I maybe never meet. I might just meet in the realm of the Spirit. May never get a chance to touch them or hear their voice. But at least I'll see them later when my time has come. Now here is a poem that it was inspired by Agape Love himself. And this is what Matthew found. You have been found, inspired by Agape Love himself, 2001, to someone who has been crying silently in the dark. You spiritually felt the draw of something you knew not. You spiritually listened to spiritual words that you could not understand. You spiritually fought against the spiritual pull. Yet you were spiritually drawn by something and someone you spiritually knew not. You spiritually kept listening, watching, thinking, and then you spiritually knew. You spiritually needed what it was that was drawing you, calling you, speaking to you in the darkness. Then you found the hand in the darkness and reached for it, and it found you. Now you spiritually know that you have been found in the darkness. You have been spiritually heard. The other spiritual hand is so big, so strong, so warm, so soft, and it has a voice of a mother, a shepherd. Your spiritual heart and mind feel safe now. You feel as a child again, safely cuddled in the safe arms of love. You feel the spiritual touch of agape love without pain or fear. You feel a spiritual touch of a mother who says she loves you just as you are. You like the spiritual touch of the hands and the words of a mother's love. You spiritually need the hands to hold you and the words to love you. Yes, sweetie, you have been found. Yes, you have been found. Yes, sweetie, you have been found. Yes, you have been found. Love to you from Agape Love himself and me, Pastor Deborah, your spiritual mother. Now we're going to pick back up with the oppressed spirit teaching that we have been doing, that was inspired by Dr. Myles Munroe from the Bahamas Faith Ministries. This is going to be part number 22. And we're going to listen, you're going to learn, take notes, ponder, and think. The oppressed spirit, part number 22. Everyone is born with a spirit, desiring to be a leader, a king, a ruler. But one has to develop this God-given spiritual identity. One must develop, renew one's heart and mind through words of truth, of spirit, of life, of agape love, to spiritually discover one's true self as a spiritual king, a ruler, a leader. Our spiritual heart and mind must be spiritually renewed in its spiritual knowledge, in truth, through light and agape love about who one truly is to become. And then from that renewed place of one's true spiritual identity, the spirit forever person can convert and heal the soul of himself, his helpmate, which is to help him out in the natural world through the biological body. Your own soul. To believe in and act as what the words of spirit and life of agape love says they are, not what the world says you are, not what culture, tradition, religion, faith, parents, friends, others say you are, not what the lust of the flesh says you are, or the lust of your eyes, not what the pride of life says, not what the oppressors, the unseen, evil, wicked ones say that you are. An oppressed spirit believes what the oppressors, the controllers, have told you what to believe about yourself and others. Sometimes this comes through culture, through faith, religion, traditions, ancestors, comes through families, comes through many sources that tells us what we will do, how we will obey, what we're allowed to do, what we're allowed to think and believe. And we are to do that without question. They, the world of darkness, ignorance, the oppressors, they can be our community, our culture, our family, our teachers, our friends, our religion, our faith, our wives, our husbands, our friends, social media, poems, ancient history. They have all convinced you of who they want you to be. what you're to think about yourself and who you are. Why would they do that, you might ask? Because if one ever discovers who one really is meant to become, a free spirit with a free will, you become uncontrollable, undominated, unoppressed by them and their lies and their deceptions, their thoughts, their beliefs, their threats, their controls. And you discover that you are a spiritual leader, a king, yes, even you women, a ruler, trapped inside, who has been oppressed, and you are just now being a follower. It's hard work. You can be set free, but not mentally. You can be set free out of prison, but still your mind and your soul and your spirit can remain in prison. I work with many people around the world. Religious leaders, prime ministers, presidents, crown princes, kings, women, children. We can get you away from the human traffickers, but still in your soul and your spirit, you can still be oppressed. Many who have been sexually abused as children still are oppressed by that sexual victimization and never find healing. One who finds out about their true self, who they were spiritually born to be on earth, then all the power and control of the oppressors will be ended in your life, and your will, both in your soul and spirit, becomes free. First, we get your spirit free. We get it grown up. Do you know that you might be many in one body? You might be many with multiple personalities in your soul, in your spirit. All of them need to be attended to, loved on, and slowly healing will come. And you may get the realization that you have been oppressed, a slave, and yet you've tried to fight back in many ways. Speak out against this tyranny, but to no avail. Other parts of you are stronger, weaker. There are people that are very strong around you. They want your body. They want your position. They want to control you for their purposes and not for you to be free. Then, when freedom starts coming, the spirit and your soul, the helpmate, can be healed by agape love. Out from the kingdom of agape love, the God of creation. First your spirit, then that will overflow into your soul. Takes a long time for this to happen. This self-discovery means that inside of everyone is a spiritually powerful free will that has been trapped, hidden, taken captive. And for one to become this unknown free self, everyone has to go through a process to develop, to grow, to learn, and then to show and manifest, first to oneself, then to others, who you really are. The spiritually trapped hidden king of agape love. I'm a king. My biological body is a female, but I just took over the rulership and kingship of many nations spiritually. to kick out the enemy of darkness and slavery. You want to know what that looks like? Go study when God came down and did warfare for the Israelites in Egypt. He was fighting the demonic gods, the Satan's strongmen of Egypt, to set a nation free. Go watch the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. The battle was always against God, light and truth and freedom against slavery and taskmasters. Go study and you'll learn the power of agape love and what it will do to set precious people free. That person, that free spirit inside of you is there, and it needs to be set free. But you can't do the fighting. Others must do it for you. And when you get free, you are nothing but a child, a baby at first. You need lots of love from a mama, lots of encouragement, teaching, training, studying to help you get freer and to develop this new you so you can come forth and help yourself first in your own inner kingdom, a spirit, soul, and physical body. Then, when you are strong within yourself, you can turn around and help others. First, you must become a spiritual king through agape love and its kingdom of heaven or paradise. And you must learn how to rule, how to think, how to decree, how to use your words. You must learn about the enemy, darkness and ignorance, oppression, slave masters. Some cultures they're called demons, some they're called strongmen, evil spirits, some they're called jinns. You must study the enemy spiritually. Becoming a spiritual king of the kingdom of agape love, of heaven, of paradise, on earth, is like a seed with a mature tree, a plant trapped on the inside of the seed. Every seed has a plant, a tree in it. The problem is the seed is a tree, but the seed must go through a process to come forth, to become what it already is on the inside, a tree. Study nature, study plants. They will show you how to come forth out of the dark soil and what's inside the seed, and what a seed is to become. The problem is the seed is a tree, but the seed, must go through a process to come forth, to become what it is already on the inside. A seed is already a tree to the Creator, but the mature tree is trapped, and in order for the seed to become the tree, it must go through a process. Becoming a spiritual king of the kingdom of agape love, of heaven, of paradise, a leader, it is the same as the seed to become a tree. One is born with a spiritual king, a leader, hidden on the inside of your spirit, in your heart and mind, and even in your soul. But to become this, and all that the seed is to be, the seed must do some things. So how does a seed become a tree? First, it has to be planted. You are planted here on the earth. It has to have water. You must have agape love, truth and knowledge and light. It has to receive nutrition nutrients from the soil called agape love, and truth, light, and water. And it takes time. Number 5, these early stages of development, growth, transformation is usually hidden in the soil before it is exposed to the sunlight or the ranges of temperature and weather. I had many years by myself, reading, studying, writing, reading, studying, crying, praying, interceding before I came out, and so will you. You just don't jump out and say, you are a king, an apostle, a leader, a ruler. Doesn't happen. And nothing your soul tells you that you are, or your family, your culture, your religion. That's not the truth. That's not the real you. I try to tell people all your buildings and all of your things that you're doing in your nations, your soul, your lust, your desire, all of that will pass away. The only thing that will be left is who you are in your forever person and what your forever person has done. And you either serve freedom and agape love spiritually. You learn how to rule and reign a nation and how to fight and do battle against darkness and evil and ignorance and slave traders, traffickers and oppressors, and how to take back the earth, the nature, the weather, and free people. For nothing else matters to agape love. None of your inventions, your buildings, your stadiums, your business, your economy, your earthly bloodlines, nothing matters to agape love but what is deeply implanted in you for you to become spiritually. Number 6, the seed has to push through the soil. You must struggle, learn, be tested, have strength, have somebody encouraging you. Go, keep going. Don't give up, don't quit. Push. Even human birth from a woman's womb takes effort to get you here. There is nothing that is not worthy of pushing, trying, day in and day out, in your dreams, studying, learning, praying about, working through problems and issues, dying to yourself and your loves and your wants, dying to the flesh and to sex and intimacy of the physical body. Nothing is more important than you spiritually becoming what you are supposed to become. Your roots spiritually must go down deep and have resources and water, nutrients hidden away. That's what agape love does. And the green part reaches up through the soil to the sun to get light and truth, wisdom and knowledge. Sometimes the seed has to fight from the very beginning just to make it to the surface. Then the small plant needs ultraviolet rays from the sun to convert the nutrients of the plant into food for growth. There must be external input into one's life by agape love and the God of creation, from his voice, through prayer, through words, through experiences, through others, to help germinate and develop the seed of a spiritual king that's already there and who is waiting to grow and develop and produce, sort of like being born again. You must have a spiritual kingdom of heaven paradise teacher, a sifa, a master teacher in your life. It can be through books or a person. It can be through the voice of your God that you pray. Words of spirit and life and truth and knowledge must be spoken and poured into your life. They must fertilize, bring nutrients, water, light, truth, into your spiritual being, your forever person, over and over again. You're in school. You might be in preschool, elementary school. Study, 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 read. Watch videos on YouTube. Listen to music. Read books, true stories. Study ancient religion. Study ancient philosophers. Study. Study, read. Don't just be looking for your physical pleasures, what your eyes set upon. Set romance, intimacy out of your life for a while. Study, grow, develop. Humanity and nature are waiting for you to grow up and become the true spiritual being you were supposed to be. I just had to remove a spiritual king from their throne in 2 nations. They were not studying. They were not ready. I have to sit there. Yeah, a female, spiritually. Because in some cultures, the females are nothing but slaves and breeders. They're to have no role. And it's a male's culture. That's taught to them. So in the realm of the spirit, Agape Love will put me, Pastor Deborah, the queen, on a throne of a nation. Just happened. And will bring all the men, the rulers, before me. And they are shocked, spiritually. You need a teacher in your life to help you learn about being a king spiritually and a leader. You'll need experiences, and most of the time you'll fail. You won't be able to understand what you're to do out there in the realm of the unseen, the realm of eternity. You'll need a leader to assist you in the spiritual development of your forever person. You'll need words of leadership, videos, a lot of them out there. Many cultures teach about this. You need to learn who you spiritually really are. And then you'll take a lot of tests. And just like I had to remove this one young man, you fail. Because your mind is not on humanity. It's not on freedom. It's not on nations. It's just on your personal sexual desires, your life, your love life. And that's all you talk about. You don't talk about freedom. You don't talk about kingship for everybody. It's all about you. And nothing about the world. The soil, that the seed that you're planted in, doesn't create the tree out of the seed. It anchors the seed. That's what Agape Love does. So it can receive water and nutrients to activate what is already there. And what is already there in your forever person? The God of creation's soil in a spiritual heart is righteousness that you must draw in from the soil. Truth and joy, agape love and peace. You must be fed with the nutrients of freedom, setting captives free. Forgiveness. You must even learn to ask the earth. I told one crown prince, king of a nation, to get on his knees, ask the earth, water, to forgive them for spilling blood on it, abusing it, not giving it credit, not speaking to it. The earth was here to be a blessing to us, and we have abused it. We've abused nature, and it's fighting back. It's not our friend. It cannot help us. You need the seeds and the nutrients of truth and joy, agape love and peace, and the living words of truth and life. They are the water and the food for you to spiritually grow, develop, change, transform. into the King of the kingdom of agape love, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of paradise. And if the environment, the soil, the water, the nutrients, the words are toxic, or they're dead spiritually, poisonous to the hidden seed, the tree, the king inside, will not develop. If the environment, all of one's earthly education, family, friends, religion, race, gender identity, relationships, culture, music, movies, games, neighborhood, social media, the lust of the eyes when you look at a body, a lust of the flesh to be touched and caressed, the pride of life and your rulership already in the earthly world. If none of that is killed in your life, and another environment, if it does not come in with new food, new nutrients, you will never grow and develop. All these other things that you have grown up with are toxic, poisonous to the development of the real spiritual you, a king of the kingdom of heaven, of paradise, of the Garden of Eden. You are drinking in poisonous water. You are in poisonous soil. You're getting no light from the sun. Bitter words, words of death, toxic air, toxic water, lack of sun. This can even be in your own family, your own house. Oppression, control, my way and no other way. That's the ancestors. We're going to control the bloodline. We're going to control. That's the way it was for me. That's the way it'll be for you. You have no choice but to submit. Deal with it. One will have to fight through the environments, the toxic relationships, culture, education, family, friends, the world's ideas that one has grown up with and in, because they, the rulers of these environments, these relationships, culture, religion, education, family, friends, the political correctness of the world don't want you to become who you are to become, according to the Agape Love's words. Why? Because all of these other forces are serving the king of darkness, Satan himself, and his demons and jinns, spiritually. When I just went into this major country, and every country I go into, every nation, the first thing I do is take the strong man, the prince, the king of that nation, spiritually, who's evil and wicked, and all of his strong men. I bind them up, and I cast them to the pit, and I let Agape Love's light and water run through spiritually the land, the people, the animals, cleansing it. Then the light of Agape Love comes down as a fire from heaven, spiritually, and puts me on the throne. And then I begin decreeing, giving edicts, bringing forth my helpers who will help the nation spiritually in their newfound freedom. They must learn new rules, laws, how to get along with nature. A lot of education must happen, and they need a lot of help. So I want to end right here in this part of the oppressed spirit. This was a lot to take in. Go back and watch it. Study. Find somebody. Pray. Someone will come to help you. There'll be books, movies. YouTube has a lot of great history. Study religion. Study the mystics. Study being the chosen one. Study what the our ancestors believed about gods and goddesses and humans. Study, read, watch, pray. I will be here to help you in any way I can. And there's many others out there that you'll be called to. You might find them out on LinkedIn or Facebook or out on other social media sites, and you'll feel drawn to them and want to connect with them. Then do connect with them. Talk with them. Listen to them. Chat back and forth. Watch the videos they send you. Study. Study. Oh, and the battles will come. You might get frightened. Back away for a while. But keep going. There is a tree inside of you that must come forth. If not, you'll be like Matthew. You'll be looking for it, trying to get it, and die on your way. And I'll see you when I get there. But I have many, many children to raise up, many Matthews to reach, many that they can say they have been found. Most of them I'll never meet in real life, never talk to them. They'll die before I can get to them. But they die wanting to be free, finding a way, and I'll see them later when my job is done. I have many years and many, many years to go yet. So you be encouraged. You don't have to stay in an oppressed spirit, but you must have some people in your life that are free to help you as you walk on a road hand in hand together, battling everything, talking, listening, praying, because it takes courage. It takes that little seed strength to push through the roots down, the green to come up. It is working hard to become the tree and then produce what it is to produce in the world. So you be encouraged. There are people out here to help you. You don't have to stay an oppressed spirit. All right, I'll see you again on the next podcast show here on the Hidden Kingdoms with me, Pastor Deborah. And you can see me on YouTube Shorts at Pastor Deborah. I'm also on LinkedIn at Pastor Deborah. And I have a website, www.agapeloveishere.org. You can email me at pastordeborah@agapeloveishere.org. And you can chat and talk. So you be encouraged. You don't have to stay an oppressed spirit anymore. Love to you, Pastor Deborah. Bye-bye.